This is the oncoming storm. It is time to review yet another clan. So, welcome to the fireside. Let's take a look. We've already discussed the Sallyhorn and the Karg. We'll come back for these. Today I want to discuss the Karguk. And to be fair, I've played very little with the Karguk. The reason I play very little with the Karguk is because I figured out early on that tanks in this game tend to not be the shields that you need them to be. If the tanks were strong enough to stand up to the damage that's being dished out by the Trevains and the Ignises and at this point the Strixbane, we would be talking a little bit differently about them. But the truth is, the tanks can't soak up enough damage. That being said, we come to the Karguk, which is actually a fairly well-built tank. Their execution, this is their regular skill. They leap high, they strike down on the target, they deal a decent amount of damage, and it's also executioner damage, because the less the target's health is, the more damage the caster can deal. See, that's good. That should be, hey, we are going to hurt somebody, and if they're already hurting, we're going to be able to push it forward. When they take damage, they're able to reflect that damage back on not just the enemy that dealt it to them, but to all nearby enemies. So, assuming we have 3 to 4 people stacked on him, the male Karguk should be awful, like a terrible storm to deal with. And he's actually one of the reasons that warriors would be difficult to move forward. Here is your next point of his tank. He roars angrily, taunting all the nearby enemies, which means everybody's going to start coming to him. And then, as part of that roar, he deals 640% of the caster's strength. He also heals. It says he increases the caster's fortitude by 30%. So he fills a third of his health meter. Everything about him screams strong tank, helping dish out damage, standing his ground. I'll come back. The female Karguk. She smashes the ground with a stun. It's also a knockback. Well, that pushes everybody apart. We don't want everyone pushed apart for most builds. Her ultimate is that she roars loudly, removing all negative effects from her and reducing all of her damage taken for 5 seconds. Okay, that means she can stand up if she's made it. And for every enemy she kills, that's killed, she recovers 15% of her health. Alright. Her skills are poor. She is trash. She is your D tier. She doesn't get the job done. She wouldn't soak up damage well. All of her stuff requires her to have killed someone. She's not just standing her ground. If she gets to her ultimate, she gets 51% damage reduction for 5 seconds. The truth is, you want a strong tank? She needs to have that 51% damage reduction all the time. So, the female Karguk, you don't play her. The male Karguk, much stronger, can be effective, Definitely good for you early game while you don't have strong enough damage dealers to push through. He will help you do that. He is a good, well-designed tank. Now, the problem is, and this is why I would mark him. Remember I told you the Sally Horn was totally strategic. He's actually a more all-around tank. Here are the problems. The male Lionstone gives himself a shield. This guy doesn't get a shield. He gets some healing, but he doesn't have a shield. The male Sally Horn is definitely a tactical shift. This guy, he's a tank whose abilities are about doing damage. Now, the thing is, you don't really need that in the long run. You need your tanks to soak up damage. So most people are looking at this going, the male Lionstorm's stronger, the male Sally Horn stronger, maybe he's trash. But he is a early to mid-game decent tank option. Early game, he's gonna soak up more damage, he's gonna bring people together, and especially if you're running him with female Ogrel, because she wants everybody stacked up. You put this guy right next to her, and all of a sudden everybody's stacked up because he just keeps taunting everybody back to him. She's not the one likely to take all of the damage because he's making them look at him. And he can help push your female Ogrel up. I would say he's a A- to a B tier tank, and he has his place in the right compositions. But at the end of the day, when you get to end game, he doesn't make the cut. But the reason he gets to mid game is this executioner damage. He can help your DPS that's still blooming, while also being a meat shield to keep them up. He can take the damage, and then he can help with finishing moves. He can help finish all of this. He keeps grabbing the groups again. So even though I feel that tanks are not great in this game, I think he is at least as good as the male Lionstone. He's definitely a better all-around tank than the male Sally Horn. He is a solid, very solid frontline champion who gets less respect than I think he deserves, because he is part of what helps you guidepost your way forward to a meta where it's all about damage. And he is the good move in between whenever you don't have the fourth strong DPS to set in that slot. He is the good move in between from the male Lionstone, where we're sitting here building a tank, that's all they do, to your DPS. He is definitely, the male Karguk is far superior in the clan, and I think you should be considering him as part of your growth group, if you get him. This has been The Oncoming Storm. You have a wonderful day. Don't forget, like and subscribe. We need to grow, and we need to help people get the information that they need to make this game work for them.